everybody wants every game to be won, but I think this is an incredibly improved Nebraska team that is playing at a very, very high level right now. So we got to have our best week of prep. We get to go play in one of the cathedrals of college football, Memorial Stadium, and one of the best fan environments that there is in the country. So we'll have to have a great week of prep and take it with us to Lincoln. So big week ahead, but excited to get back into Big Ten play.
Time for our opponent preview, talking Northwestern University, the color voice. Northwestern, the Wildcats. Ted Albrecht joining us here on Severe and Benning in the morning. What's the dominating story there, Ted? Is it the Bears maybe moving out of Chicago? Is it the White Sox heading in the playoffs? What's dominating the news there?
Justin Fields and the offense.
Okay.
The ineptness of that offense.
Ted?
We threw for 1 yard last week. Come on, that's huge.
Yeah, I say that out loud, and it's like, whoa.
That's painful, yeah.
Ted, we're getting ready to get into Northwestern kind of film study, and Michael and I, we do this every week, and we're trying to look for players. In your opinion, what's the difference between Evan Hull and Anthony Tyus? Hull gets the bulk of the work. Tyus looks really explosive. When you look at that combination of backs early, what's been the difference between those two?
Well, Hull has a little bit more of a dash to him. He has a little bit more speed. Tyus is bigger. I mean, he's 219 pounds.
Yeah.
So he's a little bit, I don't want to say slower, but he doesn't have the step that Evan Hull does. But that 1-2 combo, the last two series of the game against Ohio University, the Bobcats, they went Wildcat with those two guys in the backfield. And they traded off on who was going to get the ball and then who was going to be the lead blocker. And we just decided to load up front with the jumbo formations, a couple tight ends, and we just ran the ball. I mean, oh, my gosh. And there's no need. The quarterback was like, he was 25 yards out, flanked out. So you get out of the way. We're going to run this. It was pretty exciting.
Ted Albrecht joining us, talking about Northwestern. Just a strange start to the season. Obviously, Hunter Johnson to start against Michigan State, and then the last game, Ryan Olinsky's in there at quarterback. In your opinion, who should be leading this team going forward?
Well, I think Ryan Olinsky played good last week. He came in the second half against Duke because Hunter Johnson had 4 turnovers, 3 picks, and 1 fumble. And that was absolutely, not going to happen again. So in comes Andrew Marty. Andrew Marty came into the game and was explosive. Ran with an attitude, took us right down the field, back-to-back touchdowns, and then he got hurt.
Yeah. And
he has a labrum issue. So Ryan Olinsky comes in later in the game and manufactures, a field goal. Nothing was he didn't do anything wrong. And then he started last week and he did fine. He did good. And I expect him to get better with each game. He started as a freshman at South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
He threw for 350 against Bama at 75% completion and 3 touchdowns as a freshman. So he started a bunch down there, and he came here as a senior transfer. And I think we're happy to have him. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, nothing like having the former Clemson and former South Carolinian in the old locker room. That has to be hilarious. Ted, how are you feeling about the health of the offensive line? It's been a little battered, a little banged up, still kind of feeling your way along. What piece does that play as they're really starting to commit to the run game?
Well, it's kind of a mash unit, if I can say, in these early part of the season. We at least it seems like every week we have one guy down. So we're having guys, move in and fill in when possible, when needed. And I think going into this game, I think we're going to be totally healthy. But this group kind of decided with an attitude to put their hand on the ground and just grind out 375 yards on the ground. Now, by the way, that is not going to happen in Lincoln, Nebraska on Saturday. Okay? Your defense is vastly improved. I have tremendous respect for. And I watched the game against Michigan State. That was anybody's ball game. So I think the attitude here is, yes, we're going to try to run the football, even though Michigan State only ran it for 70 yards against you last week. But I think they're inspired now. They caught the fever. They know we can do this. And again, it was a lesser opponent, Ohio, but I think they're going to come off the bus, running the ball.
Ted,
or attempting to.
Sure. Against Duke, Mateo Durant looked good getting to the edge, looked good out in, going out for passes and stuff out of the backfield. How much of that you think could be a weakness of Northwestern, or that just Durant's just a really talented player and that's why he was good at getting to the edge and getting out of the backfield?
I just want to remind everybody, and I've been saying this since the opening game against Michigan State. We had two linebackers that have graduated, Blake Gallagher and Patty Fish, combined career tackles, 736. Combined TFLs, 47. Interceptions, 9. We have a huge void to fill in the middle of our defense. How do you replace two guys that almost had 750 tackles? So I think they were thinking too much. They weren't playing football. When they tried to make adjustments pre-snap, they had too much going in their mind. So the coaching staff says, okay, we're going to dumb this down. We're going to simplify it, because we have guys in here that have the two inside guys probably have a total of about 5 starts. So I think that is going to be the key. So we were missing guys out of the backfield. We were pursuing at the proper angle. We didn't have gap integrity. There's a lot of mental mistakes that we made, and slowly but surely we're trying to clean that up.
Ted, where would you put? I think he's pretty fantastic, and the preseason accolades would merit it. He just got his first pick as well. Where would you put the play, or at least the potential of Brandon Joseph?
Well, we know that he had 6 picks a year ago. I think that tied the nation, and that was in 9 games. He is instinctively a brilliant player. I say that because I'm not trying to crown him or anything, but the guy is just got great instincts. He's a ball hawk. He's always around the ball. He had a pick last week. He finally got a pick last week. He's always at the right place at the right time. He's not really ultra fast per se, but he's really quick. And because he's good on his feet and his mind is in the right place, he just anticipates everything. And, he's our third leading tackler on the team. He can come up and fill the run. He can come up and fill that space. And he's a really, really good player. And he's just, last year he had 56 tackles, and the top 3 tacklers were our top 3 linebackers. So there you go.
Ted Albrecht joining us, color voice of Northwestern University. This series, 10 games, 5 wins for each team, only 7 total points separate the 2 teams in those 10 games. Why do you think this series has been as tight as it has been?
I remember the first time we came to Lincoln.
Yep,
and we won that game. I've seen a lot of post-game locker rooms with Coach Fitz and, of course, with the Bears, but that was one of the most exciting moments in my career. To go into, like Coach Fitz said, the cathedral, one of the great cathedrals of college football, for the first time and win. It was unbelievable. And we just love playing Nebraska. I just love going to Lincoln. First of all, every fan in Lincoln is the nicest fan in the world besides the Green Bay Packers.
Oh,
they're so nice.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. We go out to dinner. Please come on. We got 8 of us. Some media guys. Our PR people. Hey, come on in. Let's buy you a drink right at the bar. It's so great. I love Lincoln, Nebraska.
Ted, I laugh because the former player in me. I remember I said this this was probably 8 or 9 years ago on air, and I said, It's cool to hear, and it's nice to hear when it's you guys, the media, grown-ups needing to be grown-ups. Sometimes I think the player in me was like, hey, can we not always say good game and kind of chill? Like sometimes you just want it a little nasty. But as I get older and I do this job, I'm much more appreciative of being cordial. But, man, sometimes you just want to nasty it up a little bit.
Well, listen, go to Ohio State and Michigan. They'll get it, okay?
Or Wisconsin, for that matter. Holy smokes.
Yep.
That is tough sledding.
A side story. I went to the Monday night game with 8 guys. We played golf on Sunday morning and Monday morning. Went to the Monday night football game, had a pregame tailgate at Lambeau Field. It's unbelievable up there. I wore my 100th anniversary Chicago Bear cap, right, and a Northwestern golf shirt. I didn't have one person look at me cross-eyed. Not one. Guys were walking around with Giants jerseys. I'm sorry, Detroit jerseys on.
Yeah.
It was like one big party. It's just like going to Lincoln. Same darn thing. It's great.
Ted, we
appreciate.
appreciate.
If I did that in Las Vegas, I don't think I'd make it home.
Man, they would buy you some chips. You'd be fine. No problem with that. Hey, Ted, we appreciate it. Enjoy the game on Saturday.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
It's
just win, baby.
Just so you people know, you might go through the stats and see what Northwestern did against Ohio. There are only 2 teams in the country that give up more rushing yards, either yards or yards per carry, or yards per attempt, however you want to write it down, than Ohio. Ohio has the second to worst rush defense in all of. They're really bad right now, so it's understandable. They did play much better defensively against Duke in the second half. I don't know how you handle it sometimes going into halftime up, having already scored 30.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one thing.
There can be a tendency to let off the gas.
But they did play better in the second half. I watched the whole Ohio game. I watched almost all of the Duke game. And even when Hunter Johnson not in the lineup, Northwestern's going to make mistakes and give Nebraska opportunities. The question is, could Nebraska avoid giving those mistakes back to Northwestern and giving them short fields?
Do you know how many yards Ohio's given up on the season? Net gained?
Net
and in four games. How many yards have teams rushed for against Ohio?
1,000
yards.
1,197.
Figured 250 games should be around what they get.
1,000, almost 1,200.
Yeah, they're bad, man. They're struggling.
I mean, that is.
I think Coach Solich got out in time.
That's tough.
When we come back, one of the greatest of all time hangs them up. When we come back here on Severe and Benning in the Morning.